When people think of wine country, they think Napa Valley, California. But right here in Minnesota, we have our own version of wine country. Minnesota stepped into the wine scene in the 1970s when the Minnesota Grape Growers Association was formed. After its formation, members went to the legislature to get funding for the U of M to do grape growing research.
It really sparked a whole new industry. In Minnesota alone, it's about a $51 million a year industry.
From Elmer Swenson, the godfather of cold hardy grape breeding, to today's U of M grape breeder Peter Hempstead, the program continues to release new varieties.
He developed Frontenac and Frontenac Gris, La Crescent and Marquette, and Itasca, some of the grape varieties that you might be familiar with and the wines that can be purchased around the state and around the region.
It takes 15 to 20 years to develop a new grape breed. As soon as a new breed is developed, negotiations begin with vineyards.
We work with our colleagues who help to promote and to get the licensings and patents in place so that we can start promoting these varieties and get them grown on a large scale.
Minnesota has no shortage of wineries, with nearly 70 and more popping up every day and plenty throughout the St. Cloud area. I stopped at 3 wineries, Whispering Oaks, Carlos Creek, and Milner Heritage, to learn what it takes to make a bottle of Minnesota wine.
This machine, this is called the de-stemmer crusher. You know why?
I'm assuming it crushes the grapes and de-stems them?
Yes, that's your sobriety test. You're still sober.
After the grapes are crushed, they are sent to the press.
It's like a big balloon. So when I turn the press on, what happens is this inflates with air and it presses the grapes up against this side of the press. And on this side of the press, these rails hook in. They hook in right here. And so the grapes get pressed up against here. The skins, the seeds, of course, they stay on this side. The juice runs through the back side, which drops through these canals down into my catch basin, and then I pump it off to wherever the heck I want to put it, you know?
After going through the press, the juice is pumped into a stainless steel tank, yeast is added, and the fermentation process begins.
It's going to convert the sugar in the juice to alcohol. When you convert 100% of the sugar in the juice to alcohol, you have a dry wine. If you stop that process and leave some residual sugar in there, you have a sweet wine.
Just getting that alcohol into the wine, that's a pretty short leg of the whole process, actually. What takes a lot of time with wine isn't really fermentation, it's clarification and aging.
When the aging process is complete, the wine is then ready to be bottled, corked, and labeled. While the winemaking process is similar from winery to winery, it's the atmosphere and theme that makes each winery unique.
So we added weddings. We looked into doing some wholesale. We actually started doing some bulk wine production for the food industry.
Tammy Bredesen, owner of one of the largest wineries in the state, Carlos Creek, has taken the term Minnesota Nice to the next level.
Through the name Minnesota Nice and the packaging, we would try to make them attractive enough to people that they would actually try a Frontenac or a Frontenac Gris instead of a Merlot or a Cabernet or Chardonnay.
Not all wineries need to be large to be successful.
Every year we run out of our wines, and that is our goal.
Whispering Oaks Winery in Melrose is a small winery that strives to give you that one-on-one, intimate experience.
We have a lot of people that when they leave here, they're like, wow, this was a great experience. I didn't know what to expect.
If you really like not knowing what to expect, head out to Kimball. You'll find entertainment to go with your wine.
Ist das nicht ein Haufen Mist? Ja, das ist ein Haufen Mist.
Milner Heritage Winery is known for their Austrian-Hungarian traditions.
This is about, we have 5,000 vines, grapevines, and each spring you have to tie about 10 knots of twine per plant, so you're about 50,000 knots.
The winery offers tours to both educate and entertain guests.
They were going by after they had the tour, and I grabbed the guy and said, hey buddy, come here, what do you want? Hey, how did it feel to be on the second best tour in Minnesota?
Yeah.
So since then, we've been rivalry.
That's not true. Mine's the best. His is second.
They all smile when they come off mine.
All jokes aside, the Milners have won many awards for their wine and entertainment skills.
The last 4 out of the last 5 years at the Minnesota Grape Growers Convention,
yes,
we have won the best booth award.
Yes.
At the wine festival night.
Nobody's near as entertaining.
And the whole deal
Not
is,
even close.
it's we don't have a fancy booth. We just go out and have fun with people.
Yeah.
And I got to experience the fun close up with my own wine tasting.
First, you hold the glass of wine up to the light. You're checking for clarity. And if you hold it on the bottom like this, the people behind the bar, they think you do this for a living. Then you're going to swirl it. You're going to swirl it and then tip it sideways. Tip it sideways and smell at the top. Now don't tip it towards yourself. You spill on yourself. If you tip it sideways, if you spill on your neighbor. You know, won't you be my neighbor? Now that's how clanging glasses got into wine drinking, with putting sound in your glass. Okay? Now don't drink yet. Don't drink yet. Now take first just a little sip and work it on the tip of your tongue, and then swallow. You know, at the cordon bleu chefs, they say, you know, your whole lifetime you've been eating this hot food and it's burnt the taste buds off the tip of your tongue. But the ones in the back of your tongue, they still work. Now they're different taste buds, but at least they're functioning. Now take another sip and work way in the back before you swallow.
Wow, that is different.
Ha! You did! High five!
We all have our favorite wines. Thanks to Minnesota winemakers, we have a variety to choose from, and we'll soon have another. The U of M is releasing its newest grape, Itasca, next year.
Having like a really solid grape for making a really good dry white, sometimes that's been a little bit harder category for us to fill, but the acids in Itasca are a little bit lower, so yeah, we're pretty encouraged that, hey, we got something for the market now that'll make a really solid dry white.
Whether you like sweet or dry, or reds or whites, or just want something tasty to sip on, Minnesota has no shortage of delicious wines. Reporting for WJON News, I'm Chrissy Getke.